Well, hi, ladies. Welcome. I thank you guys for joining me again this evening. I want to first just congratulate you because this shows me that you are committed and you're one step closer to reaching your goals. So, thank you so much for showing up for another session. So, this session, I know that last session we talked a little bit about some problems that we're all experiencing, and we did that very briefly. But as you know, this is solution focused brief therapy. So we are really wanting to focus on our future and solutions to those problems or any problems that we may face in the future. So I think this is going to be a very fun and easygoing session. So you can kind of let your hair down and get loose. It's okay. We're not going deep into anything this session. And actually, what I want you to do is kind of put on your inner child hat today. So just want you to get comfortable. And what I want to do is talk about a question that may seem a little funny, but I think it would be very helpful for you guys. So if you can all just imagine if you went to sleep tonight and you woke up to a miracle, and that miracle is all of the problems that we talked about in last session are just gone. They're nowhere to be found, and you have like the most perfect life. I want you to think about what that dream life would be and how would that look. So what I'll do is I'll give you guys just a few seconds to just close your eyes and just imagine your life without those problems that we discussed and just somewhere where you feel very healthy and stable. So you have a few minutes just to take a deep breath, close your eyes and think about that, and then we'll discuss. All right. So do we all have an idea or a picture in our head? Or are we still thinking? How we feeling?
So
Got something? Okay. Well, if you want to go ahead and volunteer and just share with us what your dream life would be, we would love to hear it. Anybody?
I'll go.
oh oh good.
So, as you guys know, because we've talked about it a little bit, there's been a lot of tension in our family with my brother and sister-in-law. So, in my dream world, everybody in our family would be getting along and we would be having fun and doing family functions and all the things that we used to do before this tension and stress started happening in our family.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Anyone else?
I feel like mine is something that everyone might say. It's kind of cliche, but my daughter is off at a basketball tournament this weekend in Knoxville, and I just didn't have the funds to go with her and support and watch. And I don't believe that, having more money makes for a happy life necessarily. And my husband and I are going to enjoy make believe empty nesters this weekend, but I really would I really do wish that we had the money to go see our other daughter in college more often and go to basketball tournaments with this daughter. And I really have the desire to travel more in general. So I don't know if it requires like a second job, but if I had like a travel fund and that, you know, those kinds of outings or opportunities didn't cause so much stress to where I had to say, I have to keep saying no to things because we just don't have the extra money for it.
Yeah. So would you say that your biggest need is the funds, or is the biggest need, or are you just spending that extra quality time traveling and being with your family and your children?
I would say it's the funds, because if that wasn't an issue, I would love to go and do all the things. I mean, we're
Okay.
talking like dog sitters and hotels, and it's a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Right.
that's the stuff that keeps me from doing it. I
Okay.
mean, could have joined this group from a hotel room anywhere and
Right,
still been
exactly.
accountable to certain things in my life, but it's just
Yeah,
not having the funds for it.
got it. So that dream is financial freedom then, would you
Mm-hmm.
say?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. And Rebecca?
Well, I feel like my dream would be the freedom from like social anxiety. I've really been struggling with that a lot, and it's been
Okay.
affecting my ability to go out and do things, especially with my husband. Um, I often will cancel plans or not want to go out because the anxiety of having to go out and possibly interact with people or be in situations that I'm not familiar with really causes like a lot of stress and tension and anxiety for me. So then I often stay home, but I feel like I'm missing out on things and I don't want to miss out on living life.
Gotcha. Would you say that FOMO is adding to your anxiety, or is it strictly just the anxiety comes from just being in public or in those large crowds?
I think the FOMO definitely adds to the anxiety because I
It
want to
adds
be
to,
involved. Yeah, I definitely want to be involved, but then sometimes I can't overcome that bridge to actually get myself involved.
got it. Okay. And would you say, let's see, is it the public speaking, is that, or public outings? Would you say what is the main focal point of the anxiety besides the FOMO? So you there, what's your main focal point?
Probably just being out and around and in situations that I'm not familiar with really gives me anxiety. Um, I worry about what others are going to think about me and not knowing what to do if I'm doing something correctly or make like embarrassing myself, things like that.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. So let's start with Miss Nicole. Do you feel, I know you spoke a little bit about the family tension, and in your perfect dream life, everyone will get along. Do you feel that you have authority over that situation?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Okay. So I guess I would ask you, to get to that situation, how do you feel from 0 to 10? You are capable enough to get to a healthy relationship or even get your family to a healthy relationship. And so you won't have that tension. Do you think that you have any type of, I guess, authority or leadership over the family that you're able to actually get them together to be able to talk it out, to be able to find out the root so you guys can have those moments together? Or do you just feel like they are, they have their own issues and you're not able to kind of intervene? How do you feel about that?
I do feel like I do have some influence in the situation. I've definitely been able to get everybody to family counseling in the past, but I think
Okay.
for me, I've just hit a time where I felt exhausted for carrying this for everyone and kind of just put it back on my brother and sister-in-law. But it's obvious that things aren't going to change unless someone does intervene. So I'm willing, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably at a 6, and that I could again start really trying to influence and encourage some healthy next steps and remind everybody that the goal is for everyone to be together and to enjoy our family time again.
Gotcha. And that's actually a great number. And to hear that you were able to do that before, I totally believe you'll be able to do it again. Is anybody in the room, have you ever dealt with a similar situation before? You can kind of give some advice or feedback from your experience, or no?
I have a similar situation going on, and actually she's been more encouraging to me than I think I
Oh, awesome.
can
See,
be
look
to
at that.
her. It like group or family counseling um never really even occurred to me. Like one of my sisters and my dad have a very broken relationship, and it causes a lot of stress in the whole family dynamic. And it's interesting because when you asked her the question of like how much authority do you have over this, that's where I feel really helpless. But when she mentioned group therapy, I was like, oh, that never even occurred to me. Like, we all know my sister needs therapy, like it's so easy to be like, girlfriend needs some help. But,
Yeah.
but I think, and the fact that they've been willing to do it in the past would hopefully
Of course.
increase the chances that they'd be willing to do it again. So that's pretty great, Nicole.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I would say so too. And like I said, that is an actual great number to be at. And I think that confidence comes from, the past. And so maybe if, like you said, if you can just be that like reminder, because sometimes we don't have authority over other people, but it is our family and it's a situation that we're all experiencing. So maybe just putting in that reminder, hey, like we can all do this together. And like you said, that's about not pointing out just one person needs the therapy, but we can all do it together. And that may be helpful. So I think that's great. Um, and so, Beth, let's see, we talked about financial freedom, right? I did hear you mention a few things, which was great. Maybe you can get a second job. That and other things that can be in your space that you have control over. If you were to rate yourself on a scale to 0 to 10, how confident are you that you're able to, actually reach this financial freedom?
It's hard because like you just said, getting a second job or whatever, with financial freedom comes other sacrifices. So,
Mhm.
if I'm so busy working, I can't go to these tournaments and stuff. So it's kind of a catch 22. I don't know necessarily that a second job is the option. Plus, my husband just works all the time and too much as it is. But I think we could make sacrifices
Okay.
in other ways. So I would maybe say like a 6 or a 7. Like if we cut out some other spending and if we, made sacrifices because we do live pretty well as far as financial freedom. We just don't have the extra
The
for
extra. I
traveling,
got
spend an extra $2,000 in a weekend. So, I
yeah.
think prioritizing maybe a 6
What
or a 7.
that's the word, because if we can just change that word from the sacrificing, which sounds a little, oh man, I gotta do this, it puts a little weight on there. But if you change that up to prioritizing and you simply, or you can make a list like from 1 to 10, these are the things that are important, but what's most important, then what
Mhm.
comes after that. And so it gives you a more positive aspect instead of thinking, oh man, I gotta sacrifice this, right? So that may be really good. And the fact that you brought that up yourself shows me that you're definitely closer to that 10. So I'm so proud of you. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. And Miss Rebecca, what about you? Scale of 0 to 10. How do you feel capable or comfortable, right, to get over, I guess, that fear of the unknown, right? Because like you said, you're thinking about things that maybe could happen, and it's really interfering with your relationships and just you, period. So do you think that you can incorporate some things in your life that can get you to a 10? And where are you currently? Right now, how comfortable do you feel to get into that life where you can just enjoy a more free and enjoyable life?
Um, well, I'd probably say maybe like a 5 or a 6 because I do realize it's
Okay.
unreasonable in a sense. Like, there's really no reason for me to be so anxious about going to new places, but sometimes it's uncontrollable also at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think just, you know, really focusing on the moment and using my husband's great. He has no fear about anything. So if, he's with me, I feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and there are times when it doesn't affect me at all. So I don't know, maybe I could start looking at the situations that it does affect me more and then trying to figure out what it is about those situations that it's really causing that.
Yes. And I think that's great. And what I want to tell you is that your feelings are valid, but I don't want you to ever feel that it's unreasonable to feel that way. That fear is being sparked from where. So I just want you to know that first, because that brings a little bit more anxiety putting it on yourself like you shouldn't feel that way, and now your mind's is just all going. But I think that's a good point where you said your husband is pretty free. He's, has that outgoing spirit. So maybe pulling from that a little bit, would help you out. And being honest, I think that first step of you knowing, hey, this is the problem and I need to, overcome this because I see that it's being, intervening in my relationships when it's unhealthy. But your feelings are very valid. There's going to be fear in life. There's going to be things that happen, but I'm glad that you do have a support system. I think that if you continue leaning into that, and even groups like this, then you're going to be okay. And so I think we can definitely get you from that 5 or 6 to that 10. So I am proud of you just for, admitting that. And I think we'll all, definitely reach those goals that we came in here to reach. So you guys just made me so happy this session. Before we close out, what I want you to do is I just want you to think about this, write this down, maybe in a journal. You can text it, email, but it's something I wanted you to think about throughout the weekend before our next session. And what I want you to do is write down 3 short-term goals. Nothing too crazy. I don't want to put any more anxiety or stress or pressure on you, but 3 short-term goals that that you're really going to be capable and able to do. And like we said, most of us were from 5 to 7 is really close to that 10. So we just need a little inch, a little push to get us to that life that we can already see and imagine. I mean, you already did the first step is imagining it. So all you got to do is get there. So that's what I want you to do. Just think about that during the week. It doesn't have to be anything serious. It's just 3 short-term goals to get us to that 10. And so we can live that life that we're already picturing. Okay. Do we have any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. This has been a great session. Thank you guys so much. And you have a good evening. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, sort of. Yay, good job, Jasmine.
That was great.
That was awesome.
It was.
All right, I'm gonna restart the lap and jump right in. You guys ready? This is a lot, right? Okay, here we go. Oops. Stop, reset. All right. All right, good evening, ladies. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing good?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. It figures that a group where we're all trying to be more social, that we're showing up to group and everybody's been accountable, and that's so awesome, working on our relationships. I just want to thank you guys again for your vulnerability in last week's session. I know it's not easy to dive into that quality world, right? In reality therapy, when we start to think about what it is that we really want in life, it often entails having to share some of those really personal, intimate fantasies, if you will, about what we want our lives to be like. And for you ladies, it's the relationships that you want to have and the things that you in the quiet of your own mind think about. So to share those like you did in the last session is really powerful. So I want to commend you for that. And I also want to just remind you of just the confidentiality in this group. My hope and my prayer is that you would have 2 or 3 new friends from this experience as well. And so it's important that we can trust each other right away with that. So let's jump right in. Last week, we talked about kind of the situations where you're at, Rebecca, as an overworked, exhausted nurse, right? She shared about the struggles in having time to have a social life, and she talked about some of the things she wants to do about it. Nicole as an empty nester, and her husband's not too eager to go out. And then Jasmine with the new baby. How's our precious little girl doing?
Oh, she's good. We're good. We're making it.
Awesome. Okay. Well, what I want to ask you guys, you had a little homework, was to start to do something. What are the doing, right? Last week we talked about our wants, and remember, we're kind of going through our wants. What are we going to do? We're going to evaluate that, and ultimately we're going to make a great plan to really kind of bridge the gap between what your reality is and what you want your reality to be in terms of the relationship aspect of things right now. So if you guys would tell us, what is it that you have been doing? And then any ideas, further recommendations, feedback from each other. I welcome, kind of a round table discussion in this. So Rebecca, can we start with you? What have you, either at work or outside of work, with your nurse friends or outside, what have you done to make an effort to connect maybe with some of those people?
Well, I've been trying my best to just be more open and just really find people that I can connect with around my schedule, like the nurse friends. Because it's hard, working 12-hour shifts. Sometimes I work them back to back, 3 in a row. And by the time I get done, and so it's often night shift even, I can't get to sleep, or I sleep all day. And then I feel like I sleep and I go back to work. So I've just been trying to connect with people that work similar schedules with me, and even just not focusing on like big outings, but just small little things, like even if it's like a coffee date or just spending some time. Sometimes I feel like it has to be like a big out, day out, night out, like with friends, but just trying to get my foot in the door.
I think that's awesome. So did you have any coffee dates this week?
I did. I went out with one of my nurse friends and
Oh,
it went well.
that's awesome. That's great. Very good. Any feedback or suggestions for Rebecca?
I was gonna say, I know nurses, you guys work really hard, so I think it would probably be cool for you guys to maybe implement some self-care dates in there, right? So it's like you're not doing too much, overstressing yourself. You guys are getting that self-care, but you are still spending time with people. I think that would probably be helpful and
That's
probably needed. I'm sure needed.
That is a fabulous
That's a really
idea.
good idea.
That is a fabulous
Yes.
idea, Jasmine. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. All right, Nicole, how is it going with, like we talked about last week, yours is a bit of a trickier situation because you don't have control, over, really getting your husband out of the house. So, we talked about some suggestions to kind of ease him into it, invite him to things, and then ultimately, if he's not willing, then you go alone, which is not ideal, but those are
Yeah.
the choices you get to make, right? So what did you do this week?
So this week I've tried to take a different approach. Before I feel like I did a lot of pressuring him to want to go out all the time and be an extrovert like me, when he's very introverted and comfortable being alone. So I started talking about some of the things that he loves, like golf, and started going, hey, maybe we can go out and play golf together. And I could just ride around in the golf cart with you, and you could do something you enjoy, and kind of easing him into the idea. Maybe we can invite some of your friends and their wives that like to play golf as well, and trying to kind of get him used to the idea of socializing, but around something that he's comfortable doing.
That's awesome. How did he take to that?
He actually was interested. I said, let's just, try maybe doing something like that once a month and seeing something that you're focused on or interested in, and see if that would be an opportunity for us to have the social time together. And then, so we have a date set actually in a few weeks when we're going to go play golf with some of his friends. So I'm excited about that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit just because I don't want this moment to pass, but what were your thoughts or feelings as you were kind of accommodating his interests in kind of your desire to be more
Yeah.
social by accommodating his interests? What were your thoughts and feelings with that?
Yeah, initially, again, as I've been approaching this for what seems like forever now, I have found myself in the past feeling very, just very alone in that he doesn't care about my needs or wants. And then I have this desire to have friends. We have a big house, and I've always imagined it being filled with friends. And it was filled when our kids were home with their friends and lots of friends. And that's just kind of, they left and all of that left with them. So
Mhm,
trying to just re-engage that. So
mhm.
my feelings now, I can tend to go, well, I can be negative and view it through the glass half empty, like, well, we're doing whatever he wants, not what I want necessarily. But I also can find the good in it and see that it's a baby step towards taking steps to do something with other people that could lead to more opportunities. And I am very hopeful that we'll continue to take these steps and come somewhere in the middle of his needs and my needs.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Any feedback or suggestions for Nicole?
I guess something that you're kind of already doing with the golf situation, you're finding something that, you know, he's more comfortable with, but you still get to get out and socialize. I would say to even take it a step further and add something that's more personal to you inside of that. So let's say maybe if you like dinner or, you know, just going out to restaurants and be like, hey, we can do the golf and then after we can go and eat dinner. And so both people get, you know, what they need in that moment. So like you say, you don't feel like you're like sacrificing or only as, you know, being accepting of his needs, and it's about both of you. So maybe that can
So that's
work.
a great idea. Yeah, because I could
Absolutely.
see all of us finishing off on the golf course and they're going to be hungry and just like, hey, let's all go eat. And then
Right.
I can really get that social in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. And maybe your Bible study group, having them to the house on occasion, and having your family, extended family when the children are gone, but making attempts to host a birthday party, or let's have Thanksgiving at our house, or things like that, to kind of keep fresh those desires that you have as well. That's awesome. I'm glad that he's willing to go play golf and engage with another couple. That's
Mhm.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, very good. Rebecca, I'm sorry, Jasmine, how have you been doing? What have you been doing with trying to get out and about with the little one?
Well, I did join a stay-at-home mom Facebook group. It's locally here, where we stay. So, you know, we just moved recently and we don't know anyone, so I thought that would be helpful. Um, at first, I guess for the first couple of days and even week, it just felt like I joined it just so I did something because I know you wanted us to, you know, get out and make some changes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so I was just like reading down the timeline, but I wasn't speaking to anyone. Like I'm just like I'm
Okay.
in this group, I've made progress.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think it just still felt like, you know, who's gonna really get me or see me through this screen, right? And so it's like, you know, I did something, but I'm doing it just to say I did it. So what I started to do now, I'm starting to take her out to the park at least like 3 times a week. And that way it's like a more organic feel. So maybe if she's playing with another kid and their mom is there, we'll start a little conversation. So it's like baby steps, I guess, for me.
Okay. All right. Well, you'd be surprised how many women feel the same way you do. And maybe the Facebook page gives you an opportunity to kind of get a sneak peek at their feelings and their perspectives before really personally engaging with them,
Yeah.
right? So what were your thoughts and feelings as you were engaging in the Facebook? Did you feel like you were kind of just doing it because you wanted to be a good student and do your homework, or do you feel
Yeah,
is your goal
yeah, I
achievable
think
through
that's
that?
I think it could be. It's more on me, right? Because like I said, I'm just scrolling. I'm not really talking to anyone, engaging, and I do see there are people in the group that do talk to each other. They comment and things like that. I think for me, it's just like a fear of I don't know, just maybe them not accepting me, right? Because this group has been going on for a long time. So it's like I'm just like a newcomer in here, and you don't really know people, especially from a screen or their reactions and how to really feel them out. I feel like in person you can kind of gauge, hey, this person is okay to talk to, or see where their attitude is. You can't really see that online.
Right.
So I don't know when or if I will be able to get comfortable to actually put myself out there and try to get those relationships. But I did do the first step.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Any feedback or advice, suggestions for Jasmine?
I think, Jasmine, if you do feel like you see someone you might connect with, you and your daughter on the group, maybe you can try something similar to Rebecca and do like a coffee date, like just a way to test the waters, someplace that's kid friendly, and just see what happens, see if it's somebody that you might connect with later. But at least with coffee, it's not a long-term commitment. You're kind of in and out, and safe
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, I think it's just a little weird even getting to that point, right? 'Cause like, how do you just come off like, hey, let's go on a coffee date and we don't know each other? So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much what I'm struggling with. I guess not wanting to feel rejected and then also not wanting to come off too much,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Well, a lot of times we make friends based on who our children connect with. So
Mhm.
if you
Right.
see that your child is making a connection with a particular child at the park, maybe look to engage with that parent. Maybe look to say, yeah, it's Monday at 9 a.m. We're going to come back Wednesday at 9 a.m. Are you guys available? Maybe we could meet back here again then. And then it will, could turn into a coffee date. It can turn into something
Got it.
that's more for the moms than the kids, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we're working through these steps, ladies, what I wanted to really encourage you with and have you kind of come to a realization today when we talk about choices. You all have expressed what your desires are. And so in achieving what it is that you really want, you are responsible for your choices. And so it's not always as easy as it sounds. And so sometimes we really have to kind of take a step back and do some self-evaluation as far as the choices that I'm making, are they working? And do I think that what it is I want is achievable based on the steps that I'm taking? And so that's what I really want you guys to think about this week. You can write it down. You can text it to us in our group chat if you want to. I'd love to keep the conversation going. But a couple of questions that I want you to think about is what you're doing helping, and will it lead you, is what you want achievable based on what you're doing? Okay, so is what you're doing helping, which I think for a lot of you we could say yes it is, but if it stops there, is what you want achievable? So let's really start to kind of self-evaluate the choices that we're making so that we can, maybe not next week, but in a couple of weeks, really have a plan about how we're going to get after making these choices and achieving what we want in improving our relationships. All right. Does that sound good? You guys are amazing.
Yes.
Thanks again
Yeah.
for sharing, for opening up, for trusting each other, and for trusting me. Have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Okay.
That's good.
Wow, that was awesome.
That's good.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. You are awesome. You are totally amazing. Thank you. All right. Who's up?
That would be me.
Okay. Are you
So
ready?
I
Oh, I
don't
thought
know
I
how
had
to
to push
set
the
my
button.
timer on my phone where it won't go off.
Oh,
So I'm watching.
so at the bottom, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah,
So at the bottom, it says world clock, alarms, stopwatch, and timer. Hit
yeah.
stopwatch.
Instead of the timer. Okay,
Yeah. And then just hit start and you'll see how much time has passed.
great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, is everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
And just to remind everybody, we're gonna start with Mary Beth, Rebecca, and then Jasmine. So, but I'm gonna start with the introduction. So here we go.
Oh yeah, role play. Okay.
Ready? Okay.
Yep.
All right, guys, welcome back. It's good to see everybody. How's everybody feeling this week?
Pretty good. Tired.
Yeah, it's been a long week for sure. So I just want to remind everybody, I know we've only been at this for a few weeks now, but I just want to keep establishing that this is a safe space. This is a place that we can be vulnerable. This is a place where we can be accepted and loved and encouraged to just take the next step toward your goals. So this week, since we've been kind of identifying some maladaptive behaviors and some goals, and we've been talking about our negative thinking that leads to negative behaviors, have you begun to notice any negative thoughts that are counterproductive to the goals that we've established? Have you guys thought of any negative thoughts this week? They're like, oh, wait a minute. I'm starting to become self-aware. This stood out to me and I was able to catch it. Anybody have any of those thoughts this week?
I mean, I definitely have. It's what I battle with. Even, getting on to the group tonight, I was like, am I a burden to these people? Like, do they really have time to hear about my problems? I mean, and you all have been so gracious, and I know we all deal with our stuff. So I've just been trying to keep my head up and I don't know, just trying to think more positive and trying to, at least if at least what I'm doing is positive, at least I'm doing something about it, right? So that's what I've been kind of telling myself.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Mary Beth. Does anybody else have anything they want to share?
Well, I know for me, like last week or last session, I didn't really talk as much, and I was thinking about that, and probably just because I don't want to come off as too much as I usually do. Like I don't want to scare you guys away. So I started to think about that, but then I decided to think about, your actions in a group, and like Beth said, you guys have been very just welcoming, so I'm just trying to focus on that and not my own stuff, I guess.
Yeah, that's good, Jasmine. Thanks for sharing that.
I've definitely had some maladaptive thoughts about really if this is even worth it. Am I really, causing so many issues in my life? So it's definitely been tough and, focusing on that more so than focusing on whether or not I can fix this problem.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing, Rebecca. We all experience negative thoughts. That's just part of human nature. So, but we have to think about what we're thinking about, and what we're thinking about affects the way we behave. And that's kind of the process that we're walking through. So in cognitive behavior therapy, we're going to pay attention to what we're thinking about, because it does lead us to our actions and behaviors. And so we have been meeting for a couple of weeks now, and I'm just going to remind everybody as we get to what we're going to work on today, the problems that we've identified, the goals that we've identified. We are actually moving this week into what is called the working stage. So we're going to start actually working on the things that we've identified to help us move a step closer towards our goals. So this week, the tool that we're going to use is called role play. And role play is simply this: it gives us a chance to practice our new behaviors, engaging in some of the things that typically have been issues for us with one another in this safe space, so that we can practice that behavior, receive feedback from one another and encouragement. And then the goal is to eventually put those into practice in your everyday life. Does that sound great?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so bad at this.
No, you're going to be great.
Oh my gosh, this is
You're
so
gonna be-
embarrassing.
Oh, well, we are all here to encourage one another. So don't feel embarrassed. Again, this is your safe space. You get out and you try to put these things into practice for the first time in the real world. It's way more intimidating. So here's your place. where you have, we're all in this together, we're all in
Okay.
this to support one another, and put into practice what we're going to do as we move out and put these into action in our real life. So,
Okay.
Maribeth, we'll just start with you. So, some of the things that we have discovered over our weeks together, the behaviors that you have identified is that you tend to self-sabotage with your negative thoughts.
Mhm.
You are choosing to take those negative thoughts and replace them with positive thoughts. You're choosing to believe that you are worthy because the word and that says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, your creator. So you are reprogramming your mind to know that you are starting from the place of everything that you need, not everything that you lack. So we want to help you through this role play. So I know you shared that you were looking at a job that was posted at your office that you would love to have, and you found the courage to apply for that job, and then found out that you're going to have to interview with some board members in order to get that, which has made you very nervous and anxious. You're a little intimidated by the thought of having to sell yourself to the board members. So we want to just create a space for you through interacting and role play in this setting tonight to just practice that with one of your fellow members here on the Zoom call. So you're going to practice having a conversation with a friend. So it could be Jasmine or Rebecca, and you're going to walk through how you are going to communicate and sell yourself to this board of directors because you really want this job. So this is your chance to work through that process. Talk about what are the things that are great about you? What do you bring to the table that's going to make you so great for this job?
Oh my
Tell
gosh.
us who you are and what you're going to do to really
Okay.
nail this interview.
Okay. So, Rebecca, I'm going to talk to you. And, okay. So Rebecca, I have a job interview and I'm so excited.
That's great.
Uh-huh. Um, and I think, no, I know I am qualified for this job. And um I am going to think about all the ways that I'm qualified for this job. And I'm going to, I don't know, do you think like I should sit up straight, right? And
Definitely straight. Tell
right?
me all the reasons that you think you're qualified for this job.
Okay, so I work harder than anyone I know. Like I will work so hard for this job. I'm super organized. Um, I don't love, okay, wait, I shouldn't say what I don't. Okay, I am organized, I'm punctual, I'm super punctual, and I just guarantee that if you choose me for this job, you will not be disappointed.
Okay.
That sound a little
That is awesome.
Thank you. I was trying to
Wow,
say like I
Meredith.
know instead of I think, and I was trying, but
Yeah.
that was very uncomfortable. But honestly, like doing it now and then doing it then, you're right. Like this is such a safer place. So thank you.
Yeah. How did that make
And
you
I
feel
just
to
want to
say all those?
add that you weren't trying, you were doing. That was really great.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
That's so good,
Yeah,
Jasmine.
I was nervous. I'm like I have like this cross in my hand that I'm just, but it felt really good. It felt really good.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel embarrassed to brag about myself, if you will, the way that you had encouraged me to do so. Like it never occurs to me that that's a good thing is to sell myself or um talk about my positive attributes, but it felt really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You're the expert on you.
fair
So
enough.
it's great when you can share that and just and have like you could even see your posture change. Like as you're sitting
Mhm.
there saying all these great, positive, wonderful things about yourself, that your demeanor and your posture change. And that's a great example of how
Yeah.
what we think impacts how we feel and then eventually how we act. So
Very
right
true.
there in front of our eyes, we got to witness that as you walked through your role play exercise. So that was great.
Thank you.
All right, Rebecca, how about you? Do you want to share your role play? So some of the things that we've identified is that some of the things that you want to change behaviors as you find yourself sometimes overindulging when you go out with your friends and maybe drinking a little too much and embarrassing yourself and your friends. So your goal is to not do that in the future. So you're looking to choose other more productive ways to relax and have fun with your friends. So you want to, you're going out this weekend. So let's role play. You're getting ready for that big weekend out with all your buddies at the end of the hard work week. So what are you going to do to prepare for that so that you have a different outcome than you have in the past?
Okay. So should I just pick somebody to start role playing with
Sure.
them? Okay.
Sure.
Jasmine, I will role play with you then.
Ready.
All right. So, Jasmine, I have really been struggling with limiting myself when I go out. So, I'm just going to ask you if you could just, kind of help me out when we go out this weekend and just kind of be my support person. That way, I want to limit myself to 2 drinks, no more than 2 drinks, if that. So if you could just kind of be on the same page as me, and if you see me starting to, get a little bit too, a little bit too rambunctious, or if I start to drink a little bit more than I should, can you just kind of remind me what my goal is? That way it just kind of helps me to keep it in the back of my mind. And hopefully I want to try to after 2, if I even do 2, maybe I can switch to like mocktails or something. That way I could still be involved with everyone and have fun, but I don't want to overindulge anymore. So is that something you would be able to do as a friend?
Yeah, I think so. I just want to make sure though, if I try to stop you or limit you, are you gonna get mad at me or how would that work?
Well, that's my goal. So I'm not going to get mad at you because, I'm really invested in this goal about, making myself better. So, just, I don't know if there's just trying to
Well,
focus on
listen, I
that.
think, yeah, but I think just in the past, because I have had friends that tell them the truth and they kind of get mad at me and then it ruins our friendship. So how about we just go someplace without drinks? Would that be okay with you, or is this something that you just have to have when you're out?
No, that would be great. I am committed to this goal. So if we want to go somewhere else and there's no drinking involved, that would be even better.
Well, yeah, I think that would be better because I just don't want to lose you as a friend.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. That was great. So great. Great solutions. Mary Beth, do you have anything to add to that comment? Awesome. Well, you guys did great. Jasmine, you're up for next week. Our time's coming to an end today, so we haven't forgot about you. We're going to jump into your little role play exercise next week, but I just want to thank you guys for sharing great solutions, a great role play. You're thinking ahead about things and you're taking steps towards your goals and you're working out your behaviors through this role play exercise. So we haven't had homework yet, so I want to assign you guys some homework for the next time we gather. I want you guys to start journaling. So, as I said at the beginning, the process for cognitive behavior theory is just to identify what we're thinking about because it affects our behavior. So, I want you this week to journal any negative thoughts that you're having. Pay attention to how that makes you feel internally and externally. And if any of those negative thoughts go as far as becoming a behavior in your life. So, write those down. Pay attention to them. And as a second part of that exercise, write down an alternative positive thought that you could have had to offset that negative thought. And then we're going to start working through those exercises and talking about that homework over the next few weeks when you come back. Again, the goal is to identify those maladaptive beliefs that are leading to maladaptive behaviors. And we do that by just becoming aware of what we're thinking about. So thank you so much for digging in and participating this week again. Look forward to meeting with you guys next week. Be blessed and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. 3 down, 1 to go.
I know we're doing good.
Doing awesome, ladies. That was great, Nicole. Very
Mhm.
cool.
Thanks.
How you doing, Rebecca? You ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
You got it. You got it.
it. Yeah. You got it. We'll do lots of talking.
Okay, let me get my timer going. All right, I think I'm ready.
All right.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
I'm good.
So I'm
Tired,
just gonna,
exhausted.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I'm just exhausted. Just so much on my mind.
Okay.
Same.
Well, first things first, before we dive into anything, I'm going to just start off with another reminder, just as we have with the past sessions, to just reiterate that everything we share here is confidential, making sure we're protecting each other's privacy and not sharing anything outside of this group. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is we're just going to go over the agenda for this meeting, and then we'll really dive into everything. So we're going to start by going over the homework that we did from the last session and whether or not like that you felt that homework helped you or you weren't doing too great with it. And then once we discuss all that, we're going to move on to our new topic for the week and how we can start implementing that new technique into our upcoming week of shifts and, discussing homework for the upcoming week. Does anyone have any questions about the agenda so far?
Well, I just want to be honest that I just couldn't do the homework. It just brought me just so much anxiety.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. So last week, we talked about journaling and, using it as a way to identify our negative thoughts about ourselves as nurses and our shifts that we were working. And the homework that you were assigned was to either journal like pre-shift or post-shift whenever you felt that it was best for you, and recording your feelings regarding these shifts and yourself as a nurse, and using that to identify as those negative thoughts that you're having about yourself and the shifts that you've been working. So Jasmine, do you want to go first and just really elaborate a little bit on, what was going on with your shifts this week and why you didn't think
It's
you
just
could
so much
handle that?
pressure. 'Cause, yeah, it's just pressure in this group. I guess it's just adding more pressure and me thinking about that. It's like I have all of these things to do at work, and then besides that, I have to think about before after work to write down all of the bad stuff. And it's just like I'm shaking right now because I didn't want to make you mad and I wanted to make sure I did what I had to do, but I just can't because my mind is just running all over the place and it's just too much to do. I'm like crying every day. I'm not sleeping. I'm just so fatigued. Like I don't know what to do.
Okay. No one's going to be mad at you. It's not mandatory homework. Really, it's just for you. And it could be any time that you feel, appropriate, that it works for you. And maybe journaling's not the best tactic for you. Maybe there's some other tactic that might work better.
Yeah, can I share with Jasmine? Because like my goal is to try not to take work home so much. And so I was like on my break, I was trying to kind of think about it. And then what I decided to do was on my way home from a shift, I just got on like my phone, like a voice memo, and I just ranted. And so I don't know if that might help you, Jasmine, but like I get it that
I
like
ran all day, so I can definitely record it because that's all I do all day is just rant.
well, maybe save it.
Yeah.
Maybe save the ranting for your way home, because like for me, this group is really helpful to like rant a little bit and to just compartmentalize, because for me, as you guys know, like I'm I am dreaming about work, I'm talking about work, I'm worrying about work, I'm like always afraid that I didn't do enough when I was there. I'm you know, are my patients okay? Like I just, and so for me to voice memo on the way home was like my way of journaling. And it really just gave me this sense of like, okay, I got it all out, and it helped me. I mean, it didn't like solve it completely, obviously, but it really helped to kind of leave work at work to a certain extent. So you might, you know, try that.
And
I
I
don't
think
know.
I'm really needing that because I can't even enjoy my time off because I'm just so flustered about all the things that happened and the things that's gonna happen next time I go to work. And so it's just like it just never shuts off. My brain doesn't shut off. I'm like, I'm not even sleeping. I can't even
Girl, I
get
get it.
prepared for
I
the
get
next
it.
bad day.
I get it. But how much control do we have, you know?
Yeah,
I know.
can
I will
see.
say I did my journal assignment and it made me very angry because I realized in doing it, um, I create a lot of the stress I have myself. I just seem to never leave when I'm supposed to leave. I'm always working extra to make sure that I do a good handoff with the nurses coming on after me. Um, I feel like I'm always going above and beyond because that's what's expected. But it's really gotten to an unhealthy state. I don't ask for help and everybody asks me for help. I think I've created this kind of enabling scenario with a lot of people. And I, after journaling, just realized how frustrated I was about the whole situation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Definitely.
Just like those expectations. And sometimes I don't even know if that's what people expect of me or if I'm expecting that of myself, right? Like you said, we kind of have that control. So I really don't know. And I don't know how to get to the point to pinpoint, what's the reality of the expectations and when it's okay to kind of let it go.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mary Beth had a really good solution and suggestion. Like, there's no expectations as far as what you share, as far as your journaling. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just literally your thoughts and feelings about your shift. So they could be you, like you said, you have a lot to rant about. And that's normal to come out of a shift a lot and just have things to complain about. So just getting that off your chest, sometimes there's no right or wrong way to do that. So I think and that wouldn't require you to go the extra step of writing anything down. You could just literally talk to your phone. And then, once you start to get a little bit better at the process, you can start to go back and really listen to it and start like looking at those negative thoughts and how they're really affecting, your feelings about yourself as a nurse and about your shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say, as our leader, though, those expectations at work, 'cause I think a lot of us were taking those, like, what I should be doing, this is what they expect me or you expect us to do. And so we're doing all of these things. Is that things that you're expecting us to do, or is that something we're just putting on ourselves?
I think that's just something you're putting on yourself because the journaling is whatever is working best for you. There's no expectations. I'm not going to judge you on what you're accomplishing in your shift or, there's no judgment here at all. It's just how you are feeling about, and there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, just not with the journaling. I mean, just like in the hospital itself. I know you're our team lead, and so I'm just wondering, am I putting too much on myself of like staying late, right, and worrying about passing that work on to someone else? Like, is that my job, or am I just going crazy and making myself have this anxiety for no reason?
No, because the hospital is a 24/7 operation, and I'm not here. The point of this group is not for me to come in here and judge you as a nurse and your nursing practice. That is not the point. The point is to help you guys with this. It's normal to be stressed as a nurse, but sometimes it gets to the point where it becomes abnormal and it's affecting your ability to work in your home life, and that's really the process of the whole point of this group. It's not for me to come in here and judge about how much work you're getting done. And that's not the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that help? I'm not going to look at your
It does.
journaling. Okay.
Yeah, because it just, I guess, especially doing it with kind of like my boss, it's just like, Lord, what do I say? What's appropriate to say? How should I feel? So yeah, that makes me feel better.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on to the goals for this upcoming week. I do still want you guys to try to incorporate that journaling, especially if you feel like it's helping you. Just getting some of those feelings about your shift off your chest. Keep working at it. If it's not helping you and you still can't figure it out, Jasmine, like there's no pressure. But we're going to redirect to a new tactic this week that we can start to incorporate pre and post shift. And we're going to start talking about self-care and how we can start in incorporating self-care routines. Like I said, it could be pre-shift, it could be post-shift, or it can even be during shift, in a way that can really help us to manage our anxiety and our own individual stressors while we're working in the hospital. I know as nurses, it's very hard. We are programmed to be caregivers. So it's very hard to shut that off and focus on ourselves and prioritize our own needs. Sometimes we tend to neglect our own needs for like a full 12 hours during our shift. But if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we can't take care of our patients the best way we can. So does anybody in the group right now have any kind of self-care routines they already have in place that they use during their shifts or before or after that they'd like to share?
Well, I have something I've been thinking about doing, but it's bringing me anxiety to even start it. So I see on my phone now, I have this little button that says focus. And when I press on that, I can click like focus because I'm at work or focus because I'm at home or sleeping. And so I think that would kind of eliminate me getting like the extra calls, texts, or emails that I have to answer if I see it. And that's going to kind of eliminate me getting those notifications. But then it just brings me anxiety because I don't want to miss something really important. And we have, these patients that really means a lot to me. So it's like, do you think that's something good for me to implement as self-care?
I think that is, if you are allowed your own off time, you work your shifts and there is no like mandatory, overtime. So if that's what you need to do to separate from yourself from work, then that's okay. The hospital is a 24/7 operation. Like I said, there's going to be somebody there taking care of the patients. They will figure it out. You don't have to be constantly available. You are entitled to your time off. So I think that's a great
start
suggestion.
that. I know for me, one of the things I've done to help with self-care is identify things that really feed me. And that for me is being outside. So I try to, it's not so easy to do on the day that I'm working, but on the days that I'm not, I make it a priority to spend at least 30 minutes outside every day because it just re-energizes me.
That's a great suggestion.
I have a friend who, she's actually another nurse friend, and she joined this gym, and it's a Christian-based gym. So they have like a devotional, and she's been trying to get me to go, and she's always sending me pictures of like the whiteboard with the devotional and the workout. And like, it just felt like I don't have the capacity to do that, especially like after a night shift or whatever, because she'll go after her night shift straight to a workout, and I'm like, you're insane. But as I'm hearing you guys, and like as I'm hearing you, Rebecca, talk about the importance of self-care, and like Nicole with wanting to be outside, like I do love, like I'm a cardio junkie, like I do love to just go hard, but I haven't lately because I'm always working. And so I don't know if I could go straight from a shift, like, okay, give me a minute, but I I think going straight from a shift would be the best case scenario. That would really help me with like detaching work from life, but I just don't know that I'm there yet. But I think that maybe joining this gym, like the interaction, the distraction, the outlet, that could be, I mean, I have been I have been blowing her off for so long. So maybe I need to try and at least go to a class and see how it works. I just haven't felt like I had time for that, but
I think that's a great suggestion. And I mean, there's no pressure to go directly after your shift. You know, you can sit down, look at your shifts for the week, what your schedule looks like, and maybe like once or twice, a week, even start with baby steps, maybe just once a week, find some time to get it in there. And really,
Yeah.
that's going to be our homework as I start to wrap it up for this coming week. Is I really want you guys to think, you can use those self-care activities that you already shared with me, or you could start to incorporate something else. But I really want you to take some time this week to do something that involves you and that is for you, specifically for you, because we spend 12 hours a day, 3 days a week caring for others. So we need to really start. You almost have to schedule it and plan ahead and say, this is my time and my focus right now is me. So that's going to be our homework for this week, whatever is best for you guys and whatever you like to do. And we'll come back next week and we'll talk about it and see how you guys did with it. Does anyone have any questions or anything else they want to share before I wrap this up?
no, it sounds
Mhm.
great.
Okay. All right. Great session today, guys. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys all next week. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.